everyone. So, in today's video, we're going to walk through how to sort of set up a system similar to what I have in here. Now, what is the system in the first place? Well, it's essentially an automated follow up system that you can use to sort of control all of the messaging that'll be done to potential clients, leads, people you may be trying to get in a booked meeting with you, what have you, right? Now, this specific setup is like a simplified example of what we might use if we're doing cold outreach at scale and we want to specifically look when someone replies to those emails, and then we want to draft a reply to them based on the response they've given. And so, what we're going to do with this is we're essentially going to be looking for emails that come into the inbox. We're then going to check to see if they're a part of our existing CRM or system or Google Sheet or platform. And then we're going to then use AI to then sort and filter accordingly based on what they've sent us, right? So we want to look at the context of the email that they've sent us and then, sort of route them to the right sort of filter. And so then, depending on their response, we're then going to draft a potential an update or a reply to them. And then we're going to put it into our email inbox, and we're going to notify ourselves or anyone else that maybe needs to be notified. And so what we're going to go through and do is essentially I'll show you a simplified version of this so that you have the skills and knowledge to go through and do the same thing for yourself, so you can create essentially AI automated follow-up assistants that can just take out a lot of the extra work that you're having to do when putting together your own system. So let's go through and do a quick example of how this sort of works, right? So we're going to choose where we want this to start. And we're going to go here. We're going to select an email whenever this comes up. This is a good one. And we're going to run the system. And so what it's doing now is it's going to look for the emails. If email exists, it's going to then do a category. Let me double check what's going on here. I think I chose the wrong one. Let me make sure we're good. And as long as they fit the correct category, we're then going to then push an email response. Yep, that should be, yeah, I think I just clicked on the wrong one out of the gate. And so what's going to happen, if we come here, we then go to drafts. And actually, here we go. We'll see that the email response has been put together. And so essentially what you see is they've sent you a response, and then here's our reply back to them, which was automatically curated using AI. And so super awesome because it allows us to control the messaging, but also do so in a way that's still within our tone of voice, is way faster and more reactive than we would be because we're busy doing other things. Maybe someone sends us an email and we just don't get back to them for over an hour, right? Well, we want to make sure we're doing everything to get in front of them as quickly as possible, because every minute between their reply and your response is going to dramatically reduce your chances of them actually showing up and getting on a call. So where is it? Here it is. As you see here, we went all the way through the chain. And we even got a basic reply here of like, hey, Cole, just, XYZ person express interest. Here's your information, blah, 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 right? And so this is way we're also sending ourselves a notification. Okay, cool. So this worked. We have an example. Now let's just go through and build at least one of these directions for ourselves. Okay. So we're going to exit this one, go to scenarios, create a new scenario, and then whatever email platform you're using, we're gonna use it as a starting point. So, but for me, I use Gmail. So we want to click on the Gmail module. We're gonna watch for emails. Out of this, we're not really gonna have to put much criteria, but we want to make sure it's looking at all emails that are coming in. We could actually set up a folder so it's only looking at the replies. That way you're not registering this as much. But for the sake of this, we're just going to say all email, and we're going to do unread emails, and we can just do one result at a time. Subject contains, we can do RE. So this way we make sure that it's only the replies, right? So that should be able to set it up. Now, if we do a quick filter here, we'll verify that this is seeing the correct things. So there we go. That is an example of a reply here. In fact, actually, I'm going to simplify this just so you guys can see everything at once. We're going to hit run this module only. We always want to go through and do a run as we go through here. Choose where to start, select the first email. There we go. So that's fine. What we're going to go through and do now is, let's say we have a Google Sheet and we want to search that Google Sheet to see if the person is a part of maybe a dedicated campaign. So think of Google Sheets, maybe your CRM in this instance, right? Maybe we're looking at HubSpot and we're going to just simply search to see if that person exists in a list. And this is just sort of a way to validate that the people are in certain parts of your flow. And if they're not, we can still send a reply, right? So LinkedIn master list. We're going to go through sheet name, and we're going to go email equal to recipient. Actually, we can do the sender because the sender is the person that's sending us the email. So we're going to do this. So if it contains, always want to do contains just in case there's slight deviations. So what we're now looking is if the sheet contains this email, it will then come back with a reply. And so in this, we're going to just insert a row above, and we're going to put, and we're going to go Cole Riggs. Company name. There we go. All right. So we've got this in here. Now we want to go through and we want to watch emails. We're going to choose where to start. We just want to make sure this all works as we're going through. We're going to go. Actually, give me just a second. We're going to go here. Delete that one. We're going to go to drafts. Discard drafts. Dun, 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 da, da, da. I'm going to go here. I'm actually going to do all emails. We want to do all emails in this instance because we want to make sure we're looking at, we want to get all the data here. And I want to pull just from one email just to make this flow easy for us. So here we go. We have a reply. We're going to run it once. Great. Look at that. And bundle. So the bundle output, we got a reply. So that means if number of bundles equals 1, that means the data exists. Okay. So now that we know the data exists, we're now going to go through and create a chat completion. And we will have to create a filter here shortly, but we don't got to worry about that right now. We're going to choose GPT-4o. Super simple system, much more efficient. And so we're going to go through and do the following. Now, when we're using OpenAI, we always want to go through and give it a system settings or a system base. So you are an intelligent assistant with, I can never spell, it seems, with that, yeah, we're going to say intelligent writing assistant. Actually, we will say you are a helpful and intelligent writing assistant that is helping me emails towards booking a call. Good. And so in this instance, we can go into this level of detail because this one's going to be focused on one key action, right? This whole chain is basically going to be following up with people who have shown some degree of interest. If they're interested, we're going to send a draft. If they're any version of not interested, we're just not going to do anything, right? Just to simplify this. Okay, we can do max tokens. We're going to say user, you're to review the email and see if they actually, I remembered I have a version of this I can just provide to us, and this will make this easier. Just a moment. Here's the prompt. So we're going to say, I want to clean this for us. The prompt structure is the following. Is 1, express interest. 2, 3, 4. So how it works is we're going to then have our system setting, then we're going to have our user setting, where this is like you are telling it something, right? So then we're eventually going to go and do another user prompt, right, just after this, where it's using this information and then reviewing the email here. So we can hide this one. We want to go and look at message context, right? So we want to look at the text context here, right? Because we've just told it, hey, please analyze the following email response, categorize into one of the following categories, and then it's going to reply with one of the following after reviewing this. Cool. And we're just going to hit save. We're going to hit save right now. We're going to run this again, choose where to start, select the first email because we want to give it consistent input and essentially a starting place for this. We're going to scroll down to the email that we want to use for this example, run once. Person exists, fantastic. We're going to come here, go to choices, right? We're going to always come down here, right? So category 1, expressed interest, which is great. So this means that they've shown some degree of interest. What we're going to do now is we're going to use a flow control. We're going to route. Again, in this instance, we're going to use simply 2 filters. But we're going to do create a chat completion. This one we actually won't need to create a chat completion. I'm going to go set multiple variables. We'll come back to that one. So this one is interested. So we're going to go choices, message, content, contains 1. We're going to double check this, make sure it's pulling in the right. Yeah, see, there you go. So this is a consistent way it will reply. So we can come here, 1 contains expressed interest. So now we're going to go to choices, message, content, right? So essentially what we're going to say, and we're going to put the label here. We can just go expressed interest. So this means the label here is going to show, I'm going to save it, is they are interested. There we go. Okay. They are interested. What it's going to look for is the response from AI saying, hey, based on what I've analyzed, they're interested. Then we're going to look if the response from AI says it expressed interest. Now, if that is true, they will go here and we will go through the flow we built there. If not, in this instance, right, not equal to, we're just going to be consistent with this one, right, to simplify the setup here. Because otherwise I can get way too detailed for this call. This ended up being like 3 hours long. Is not interested or available. Right. And so clearly we have those 3 other variations and we would be able to just break them out. Right. If we did want to go and do the out of office one, it would just be as simple as doing look at the choices, go to the message, check this, is containing out of office, right? So this is that consistent response that AI is going to give us, right? However, in this instance, because we're just going to run the one example, we won't need to break this out. But what this would simply allow you to do is if it's, not expressed interest, maybe they're out of office, so they technically aren't saying that they aren't interested or really available. We're just going to we could then push them here. But again, just for simplifying this process, we're just going to look at these two. So we can save this. What are we going to do here? What we want to do is we want to then go through and train it on a response. So similar to what we did before, we're going to give it a system prompt. You are a helpful and intelligent assistant whose goal is to help me bookings, business. Perfect. So we've given it a structure, formatting, background. Now we're going to go through and give it examples. And so we usually want to do at least 2 examples. And so that's sort of what we're going to go through and do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and say user and assistant. So we're going to put in the response or the email that we're going to be pushing to it, and then we're going to have it give us an output. Now, what we want with this output is we're going to want a HTML JSON reply, because this will allow us to properly bucket the information into our email platform, ensure that it's formatted correctly. If we don't do this and we just get plain text, there could be a lot of weird formatting issues. And so making sure that this goes through correctly is going to be key. So the good thing is this user input does not have to be that way. So what we can do here is actually we're going to come up to the system reply first. And we're going to say all should be JSON format, provide the body as we are existing email chains. Spartan, professional. There we go. So we've given it background, structure, formatting. We will reply to existing email chains, professional. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put in some example pieces that a person might give us. And what we can actually do, save that. So we can come here. We're going to go here, text context. Boom. There we go. We can just take this as an example. Great. So that's our input. Let's do another user input just to make this simple. I feel like just walking through. Let's take this example. This one's going to be assistant. Here's the user one. We're going to just put in a potential reply that someone may send. Hey, came across your email regarding AI automation for recruiting and staffing, blah, 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 blah. This is just them saying that they're in some degree of interest, right? Thanks. John Doe. Beautiful. Okay. So what we're going to do is then work on the automated or AI-based assistant replies. So the assistant replies are just that. These are the replies that you get when you're messaging ChatGPT or an AI system, and it's replying to the input that you've given it, right? And so we've told it that we want it to give us an output of JSON. But more importantly, we need an output in JSON formatted for HTML. Now, this is important because we're pushing this to an email system. And so this is what we're going to do. When you do it, typically you're going to get a subject line and a body text. So how this really would typically look is it would be something like this, right? Mia, it wants to keep being a pain in the ass, doesn't it? So it'd have something like this, right? And then you're gonna go, right, like this, and voila. And this might be body, and then response from the AI gives us, right? So this is sort of what it would look like. But what I'm going to do is I can simply just go over to AI, tell them, hey, give me some example outputs. And so that's what we're going to put in here. We're going to go copy code, paste as plain text. And we actually don't need the subject line. As stated before, we are going to go through and get rid of that because we're replying to an existing chain. So we can go through here, play around with this. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Here's our reply. Maybe we don't need this. Boom, there we go. Your name, we can just do Cole Riggs, position, co-founder. That looks good. So might not make sense for you, but these backslashes with the ends actually is saying to do the breaks. But actually, now I think about it, I am pulling that and dedicated just like for JSON format. We actually want to get we want this in HTML. So I got to change this real quick because JSON does a break where it does brackets like this, and then it does BR. So we're going to go through and actually update this real quick. Boom. Here's another example, right? It's much shorter, but that's okay. We're just doing this for a quick example. Okay, Riggs, position, co-founder. This all looks good. As you see here, we have a link, right? We're doing an Ahrefs link over to bolded text assistant. And for this instance, we can just maybe copy this format almost exactly and put it into this one. Again, we're going to remove the subject as we don't need it. We're going to put in our name, Cole Riggs. This just helps to hard code and ensure it's wanting to take the correct info. All right, we're going to do co-founder. Beautiful. Now we're going to go and finally give it the email that was sent from this person. We're going to go to text context again. So now it's been trained on, here's example replies I want you to give me based on this email. We're going to hit OK. And we can go through and just run this modules again. In this example, we're to say, sure, let's connect. Cool. We can just do a super simple one. It's going to go through. It's going to run it. It's going to reply. There we go. Fantastic. It gives us a response. Again, here it is. It's broken out. It has body, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So now we're going to go through. We're going to go to search JSON. We're going to then parse the JSON, which is the JSON string that it just gave us. Right, there we go. And now we're just going to go and take this example and we're going to run this one individually because we don't want to have to go through and run all of it. We just need to run the one module we're working with. So we're going to go here, parse JSON, context, run it. And here's the output. So here, here now you see the output where it's not in JSON anymore. Now it's just HTML. Perfect. So we're going to go and we're now going to create an email we're going to send. And let's just say we're going to create a draft email. Let this load in real quick. Let's say we want to dedicate it to a folder. Specifically for this one, we're going to say it's going to go to drafts. Context is the body. Subject, not needed. Add a recipient. We can close all of these. Actually, we can just do this. Come down to the email. And then we have who sent us the initial email. So we need to send the reply to this person. So that's who's going to be added in the sender's address. In terms of subject, let me move it over here a little bit easier. Subject, we're going to come to subject. Nice and easy. If you maintain the subject and you make sure the context is added, which is our reply, this should be able to jump right into the email chain that already exists. Okay. So now we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to do one extra thing. We're going to hit save. In this instance, right now, you could probably already stop and do so much more than you've probably already been doing just by automatically optimizing based on the reply. And if they are focused on maybe wanting to talk to you or showing some type of interest in wanting to work with you, you could use this system just as it is. But if we want to go a step further, we can do a couple extra things. One of them that I love doing is to notify you or your team. So we want to create maybe a message. We're going to select from the list. Maybe you have a public channel you want to add this information to. In this example, I'm just going to send a direct message to myself. There we go. What am I going to message myself? Hey, Cole, blank. Where is it at? Just interest in our services, and I have draft email send inbox. Feel free to review. Right. So currently I have it set up just to create a draft, but we could simply, instead of just create a draft, just create a send email. But in this instance, I don't really need to send the email. But we could just go, hey, I sent the email already for you. Right. So again, just to show you that, we can just go add a module, go to Gmail, right? Instead of draft an email, we can just hit send an email. As you see, same exact setup, just sending it out to them. I just don't need to do it right now, right? You could just allow the system to draft these emails for you until you're confident with its replies. The only thing I would say is that you're probably just slowing yourself down in your ability to get out in front of people as fast or to get as many booked meetings specifically using this system. All right, so here's our super simple version of this. We're gonna run it. Oh yeah, hold on. I need to stop. Got ahead of myself. We need to choose where we want it to start. We're going to send our first email or select the first email. Okay, here it is. Run once. Running, searching the CRM. If it exists, they are interested. Parsing the JSON, creates the draft email, sends me a message. Boom, there we go. They just expressed interest. Alrighty, if we go to drafts, boom, there we go. And here's the draft that we put together, right? Super easy, super simple, but so awesome. It saves you tons of time. I've put the system in place for ourselves as well as a handful of other people, and it's just dramatically helped to improve how efficient your team is, especially on the sales side with getting more meetings put on your calendar. Now, you could use this for anything. You could use this for proposal follow-up, for candidate follow-up if they send you a message, or client follow-up, just so you can go through and draft a bunch of potential replies based on the topic and you wanting to maybe have it go to some preset sections, right? Maybe it's you have one of these running for trying to book a call on the cold side. But if they're already a client, you have your own set of canned responses. Maybe they're wanting to schedule a follow-up meeting with you, and it's always within a certain team's chain, right? Like, hey, if it's from this person, make sure that it's a part of this team, right? It's like part of the creative team. Make sure to add all of the creative team members to the the chain and being like, hey, we all reaching out, just confirming that we want to connect at this time, right? What have you. So there's a lot of really cool things that can be done with this type of setup. Now, if we have the instance here of like, if they're not interested or not available, you can use this. And the reason why I put this variable here is like an example module you might connect to, where if it's marked as not available, super common on the cold outreach side, where maybe you reach out to someone and the email doesn't exist. Well, you want to go through and send it, like you want to be able to push that data into the platform, right? So in this example, maybe it's instantly, right? You want to search the leads. You want to search for that lead that's in your email system, right? So we're going to look for this email. Maybe it's under this one. We hit OK. If the lead exists, we then would remove the lead from the campaign, right? Maybe we want to go through and pull that lead out of the system, right? Okay. And then let's just say email. And then maybe we want to do something else with it, so on and so forth, right? Well, again, I hope this helps. There's so much that can be done here. We'd love to show you guys other examples of how the system can be put in play, but I really want your guys' input, so that way I can give you guys information that's going to be most valuable to you. Other than that, I hope this has been a awesome little way to walk through and understand how you can use automation to help to get more out of your email-based system, so that you're getting better replies, more efficient replies, faster follow-ups with potential deals and clients. All right, talk to you guys in another video. See you soon.